presented by Soundlibra.com. Explore more titles via the link in the description or at Soundlibra.com. Welcome to Less Phone, More Life. Today, we're diving into the smartphone dilemma.
Exactly, Alex. Before we jump in, a quick heads up to our listeners. While we're exploring habits and well-being, this isn't medical or professional mental health advice, so definitely consult a professional for specific health concerns.
Great point, Lisa. We've all felt it, right? That nagging feeling that our phones are taking more than they're giving. That urge to check notifications, the endless scrolling, the way time just seems to vanish. It's a common struggle, and we're here to turn that struggle into a strategy. For years, smartphones have been billed as tools to enhance our lives, to connect us, to give us access to information. And they do all of that, certainly. But for many of us, they've also become a source of distraction, a constant pull away from the present moment, and a significant drain on our most valuable resource, our time.
It's like we've unintentionally created this digital dependency. We rely on our phones for everything, for communication, for entertainment, for information, even for navigating our daily lives. And while that might seem efficient on the surface, it often comes at a cost we're only just beginning to fully understand.
Think about it for a moment. How much time do you honestly spend looking at your phone each day? We're not talking about essential work calls or important family messages. We're talking about the hours that slip away, unnoticed, into the digital ether. This is what we mean by the smartphone dilemma, the gap between the intentional use of a tool and the unintentional absorption it can create.
And the impact of this digital dependency goes far beyond just lost time. It affects our focus, our ability to engage deeply with tasks, our relationships, and even our overall well-being. When our attention is constantly fragmented by pings and alerts, it becomes harder to concentrate on a single thing. It erodes our capacity for deep work, for sustained thought, and even for simple presence in our physical surroundings.
You know, I remember a time before smartphones were ubiquitous. We used to wait for things. We'd wait for letters in the mail, wait for landline calls, wait for appointments. And in that waiting, there was a certain level of calm, a space for reflection or observation. Now, we have instant gratification for almost everything, and that constant stream of stimulus can be overwhelming.
That's such a great point, Alex. It's like our brains are being rewired. We're becoming accustomed to quick bursts of information and easily digestible content. This makes it harder to engage with longer, more complex tasks, or even just to sit with our own thoughts without reaching for a distraction. It's a form of digital dependency that can sneak up on us, and before we know it, we feel a sense of anxiety or even panic if we're separated from our devices.
The feeling of needing to check it, even when you know there's probably nothing new. That's a classic sign, isn't it? It's not always about a conscious decision to use the phone. It's often a habitual, almost involuntary response to a perceived need or a moment of unstructured time. And this is exactly what we want to help you tackle over the course of this series.
So, on this podcast, Less Phone, More Life, we're going to explore practical, actionable strategies to help you regain control. We're not advocating for a complete digital detox, unless that's your personal goal. Instead, we're focusing on making conscious choices about how we interact with our technology so that it serves us, rather than the other way around.
This first episode is all about understanding the why. We've introduced the problem, the smartphone dilemma, and the concept of digital dependency. We've touched on how it impacts our time, our focus, our relationships, and our mental state. In the coming episodes, we'll move into the how.
That's right. We'll be discussing practical steps. We'll look at auditing your current phone usage to truly understand your digital footprint. Then we'll discuss decluttering your digital life by curating your apps. We'll explore setting mindful boundaries, taming notifications, and creating tech-free zones, especially in your bedroom. We even have episodes dedicated to rediscovering real-world joys and embracing boredom as a catalyst for creativity.
Each episode is designed to build upon the last, offering concrete tools and insights to help you cultivate a healthier relationship with your smartphone. We want you to feel empowered, not deprived. It's about reclaiming your time and your attention, and in doing so, enriching your life with more presence, more connection, and more genuine engagement with the world around you.
So, to recap for our listeners, today we've established the core issue, the pervasive smartphone dilemma and the resulting digital dependency that can chip away at our time and focus. We've acknowledged that this is a widespread challenge and that understanding the problem is the crucial first step towards finding solutions. We've hinted that the next step involves a deep dive into our current habits.
And that leads us perfectly into our next episode. Next time, we'll be rolling up our sleeves and diving into the great phone audit. We'll show you how to uncover your personal digital footprint and truly understand where your time is going. It's a vital step for anyone looking to make lasting change.
So, be sure to join us for episode 2, The Great Phone Audit, Uncovering Your Digital Footprint. It's going to be an eye-opener. Thanks for listening. Next episode, The Great Phone Audit, Uncovering Your Digital Footprint.
Welcome back. Today, we perform the Great Phone Audit to uncover our digital footprint.
Last week felt like a wake-up call, but this week is about facing the numbers. It can be a little daunting, can it? Staring at the data of how much time we actually spend on our phones.
Absolutely, Lisa. But that's precisely why this audit is so important. It's not about judgment, it's about awareness. Think of it as a health checkup for your digital habits. You can't fix what you don't understand. So how do we start this audit? We need to measure our current usage.
The easiest way is to use the built-in tools on our smartphones. Most phones have a digital well-being or screen time feature. Have you explored that on your device?
I have, and it's incredibly revealing. It breaks down your usage by app, shows you how many times you've picked up your phone throughout the day, and even tracks how many notifications you receive. It's a comprehensive picture of where our attention is being pulled.
It really is. For listeners who might not be familiar, this feature is usually found in your phone settings. On iPhones, it's called Screen Time. On Android devices, it's often labeled Digital Wellbeing or something similar. When you go into that section, you'll see a dashboard.
And that dashboard is your roadmap for this audit. Don't just glance at it. Dive in. Look at your total screen time for the day, for the week. See which apps are consuming the most of your precious hours. Are you surprised by the top contenders?
I certainly was the first time I really looked. I noticed I was spending way more time on social media apps than I ever would have guessed. It's easy to think, oh, I just hopped on for a minute, but those minutes add up. This audit shows you the cumulative effect of those tiny interruptions.
Exactly. Those quick checks can turn into 20 minutes before you know it. So, the first step is to activate and regularly check your phone's built-in screen time tracker. This would give you a baseline. Another vital part of the audit is understanding your notification habits.
Ah, notification.
They're the little digital tugs on our attention, aren't they? Those constant pings and banners are designed to pull us back into our phones. Your phone settings will also show you which apps are sending you the most notifications.
And this is where we start to identify the real culprits of distraction. Are you getting a barrage of notifications from games? Or perhaps endless updates from apps you barely use? For this audit, you want to note down not just the quantity of notifications, but where they're coming from. Over the next week, I want you to be extra mindful. When your phone buzzes or lights up, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, is this notification truly important right now?
That's a great exercise. It forces you to be conscious of the habit of reacting to notifications, not just the notifications themselves. Beyond the built-in tools, there are also third-party apps that can provide even more detailed insights. Some apps can track your app usage in more granular detail, showing you how many times you unlock your phone or how long you spend in specific app categories.
That's a good point for those who want to go deeper. Apps like Freedom, Forest, or Moment can offer robust tracking and even blocking features. However, for this initial audit, relying on your phone's native screen time tools is perfectly sufficient and a great starting point. The key is consistency. Don't just check it once. Make it a daily or at least a weekly habit to review your usage.
So, we've talked about tracking total screen time and understanding our notification sources. What else should be part of this digital footprint audit?
Let's talk about when you're using your phone. Are you scrolling through social media first thing in the morning before your feet even hit the floor? Are you on your phone during meals or right before bed? This is about the context of your usage. Your phone screen time data might show you your top apps, but this part of the audit requires a bit more self-reflection.
It's like recognizing patterns. Maybe you find yourself picking up your phone out of boredom, or perhaps first thing in the morning as a default activity. We're looking for those unconscious habits that have become ingrained.
Precisely. To help with this, you could even keep a simple journal for a few days. When you find yourself reaching for your phone, jot down the time and what you felt you would gain from using it at that moment. Were you feeling bored, anxious, seeking connection, or just acting on autopilot? This adds a layer of emotional understanding to the data.
That's a powerful way to connect the numbers to our feelings and motivations. So, to recap our great phone audit so far, we're using our phone's built-in screen time features to see total usage and identify top applications. We're also paying close attention to our notification patterns, which apps are pinging us the most, and how often. And finally, we're reflecting on the context and motivations behind our phone usage, perhaps even keeping a simple journal.
You've got it, Lisa. This isn't about shaming ourselves. It's about empowerment. Once you have this objective data and self-awareness, you're in a much stronger position to make intentional changes. You'll see exactly where your time is going, and that knowledge is the first step to reclaiming it.
And the insights gained from this audit really set the stage for what's next, don't they? Because once we know what's on our phones and how much we're using it, we can start to declutter.
Absolutely. Next time, we're tackling the minimalist app diet. We'll explore strategies for decluttering your digital life, keeping only what truly serves you, and banishing the apps that are silently draining your time and focus.
That sounds like a much needed spring cleaning for our digital lives. So, be sure to check your phone's screen time settings this week, make note of your usage patterns, and ponder those notifications. We'll be right back to dive into making our app landscape more mindful.
Next episode, the minimalist app diet. Welcome back. Last time we covered our digital footprints. Now, let's declutter your digital life.
That's right, Alex. For many of us, our phones have become digital junk drawers. We download apps with good intentions, try them out, and then forget about them, only to have them cluttering up our screens and our minds. This app audit was eye-opening for me, and I'm ready to start simplifying. So, where do we begin with this minimalist app diet?
The core idea is intentionality. We want to move from a reactive, download and forget approach to a deliberate, curated one. Think of your phone's apps like rooms in your house. You wouldn't want a room filled with random junk you never use, right? You'd want each space to serve a purpose, to be functional and contribute to your well-being. The same applies to your digital spaces.
That's a great way to put it. So, the first step is to actually look at all the apps we have and decide which ones are truly serving a purpose. Are we talking about just deleting the obvious game apps we never play?
It's more than that. We need to be critical. Ask yourself some honest questions about each app. How often do I use this? Does it genuinely add value to my life? Or does it mostly serve to distract me or make me feel inadequate? Does it help me achieve a goal? Or does it hinder me? For the apps you use frequently, how do they make you feel after you use them? Energized, informed, or drained and anxious?
Oh, that last question is a tough one. I can think of a few apps that, while I might use them daily, leave me feeling less than great afterward. They might be feeding into comparison, or just endless scrolling.
Exactly. And that's where the decluttering really kicks in. We're looking for the apps that are time sinks, attention thieves, or emotional drains. This isn't about deprivation, it's about liberation. It's about reclaiming your time and mental energy. So, I encourage everyone listening to do this with us. Go through your phone, screen by screen, icon by icon.
And when we come across an app that doesn't pass the test, what's the next step? Just delete it? It feels so simple, but also incredibly profound.
It is that simple, and yes, it is profound. The act of deleting an app cuts off a potential path to distraction. It's like closing a door that was always tempting you to wander through. For those apps that are hard to let go of, perhaps because they serve a secondary purpose or you might need them someday, consider archiving them. Many phone operating systems allow you to archive apps, which removes them from your main screen and from your immediate view, but keeps them available if you really need them. It's a good compromise.
Archiving is a fantastic idea. It acknowledges that I might need it, but it removes the instant gratification and constant temptation. It puts a barrier in place without a complete shutdown.
Precisely. Now, beyond just deleting or archiving, we want to be proactive about what we keep. This leads us to curating your digital environment. Think about the apps that genuinely support your goals and well-being. These are the apps that help you learn, connect meaningfully, manage your responsibilities efficiently, or engage in healthy habits.
So, it's not just about removing the bad, but making conscious choices about what remains. Like choosing to keep a meditation app because it helps you start your day with calm, or a language learning app because you're passionate about expanding your skills.
You've got it. And when we curate intentionally, we create a phone experience that serves us rather than a phone that dictates how we spend our time and energy. This minimalist approach isn't just about tidying up, it's about reshaping our relationship with technology. By reducing the sheer volume of digital stimuli, we make more room for focus, for deep work, for genuine connection, and for simply being present.
This really is about reclaiming control. I think we often feel overwhelmed by the number of apps and their constant demands, and this decluttering process helps to alleviate that feeling of being constantly bombarded. It creates a sense of calm and order on our screens.
And that sense of calm on our screens can translate to a sense of calm in our minds. When you're not constantly faced with dozens of icons, each representing a potential distraction or obligation, your attention is less fragmented. You can focus on what's in front of you, whether that's a task on your phone, a conversation with a loved one, or just enjoying a quiet moment.
So, to recap for our listeners, first, we need to do a thorough audit of our apps, asking critical questions about their value and our emotional response to them. Then, we decide whether to delete or archive apps that no longer serve a positive purpose. Finally, we consciously curate the apps that remain, ensuring they support our goals and well-being. This whole process is about intentionality and reclaiming our focus.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. By decluttering our digital lives, we're making a powerful statement. We are in charge of our technology and not the other way around. This reduction in digital noise is the foundation for many of the practices we'll explore next.
Definitely. And speaking of what's next, in our upcoming episode, we're going to tackle the very first moments of our day. We'll explore how to start your day present, even before you might think about reaching for your phone.
That's right. Morning mindfulness, starting your day present. We'll be diving into techniques to set a positive, screen-free tone for your mornings.
So, the takeaway for today is clear. Declutter your apps. Declutter your mind. Embrace the minimalist app diet, and you'll be well on your way to a less distracting, more present digital life.
Thanks for listening. Welcome back to Less Phone, More Life. We'll start today's episode directly.
Welcome back. Last time, we audited our digital lives and started a minimalist app diet. Today, we're diving into something incredibly powerful, morning mindfulness. How do we start our day present instead of instantly pulling ourselves into the digital world?
It's about creating a buffer zone. Think of your morning as a sacred space, a starting point. If you immediately dive into emails, news, or social media, you're letting the outside world and its demands set your emotional and mental state for the rest of the day. We want to reclaim those first crucial moments.
A buffer zone. I like that. So, what does this buffer zone look like in practice? Is it about completely avoiding technology for the first hour?
Exactly. For an hour, or even just 30 minutes initially, commit to no phone. This isn't about deprivation. It's about prioritizing your own well-being and mental clarity. This quiet time allows you to connect with yourself before you connect with everyone else.
30 minutes sounds more manageable to start. But what do you do in those 30 minutes if the phone is off limits? My brain immediately goes to, what will I fill that time with?
Great question. The key is to replace the automatic phone check with activities that nourish you. This could be anything from gentle stretching or a few minutes of deep breathing to simply sitting quietly with a cup of tea. You could also read a physical book, journal your thoughts, or even just look out the window and notice the world around you.
Journaling. I used to do that years ago and found it so helpful for processing thoughts. So, the idea is to replace the mindless scroll with a mindful activity. And the further away from the bed the phone is, the better, right?
Absolutely. Just having it in reach, even on your nightstand, is a temptation. Try charging it in another room overnight. This simple act creates a physical barrier and forces you to actually get out of bed to turn off an alarm, which is a much better start to the day than pressing snooze repeatedly while already scrolling.
Charging it in another room. That's a big one. I can see how that would be a game changer. So, step 1, charge your phone away from your bed. Step 2, dedicate a period of time, say 30 minutes to an hour, to no phone access first thing. And step 3, fill that time with a mindful, nourishing activity.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. Now let's talk about why this is so transformational. When you start your day proactively, you are in control. You're not reacting to incoming stimuli. You're setting an intention. This leads to a feeling of accomplishment and a greater sense of peace that can carry you through the day. It's like choosing your own adventure for the day, rather than letting someone else choose it for you.
It's about agency. I like that. Because often, by the time I've looked at my phone, I feel a sense of overwhelm. Emails, messages, the news, it can all feel like a bombardment. Starting the day with that kind of input instead of a period of calm, it sets a very different tone.
Precisely. And the benefits extend beyond just your immediate mood. Studies show that practicing mindfulness, even for short periods, can reduce stress, improve focus, and boost creativity. By carving out this phone-free time, you're essentially giving your brain a chance to wake up gently, process your thoughts, and prepare for the day ahead in a much more focused and positive way.
So, it's not just about being less on my phone, it's about actively cultivating a better state of mind for myself. It's an investment in my own mental and emotional health.
Exactly. And this mindful morning can actually make you more efficient with your technology use later in the day. When you've started your day with intention, you're less likely to fall into mindless scrolling out of habit or boredom. You'll be more mindful of why you're picking up your phone.
That makes sense. If you've already had that quiet time, you're not craving that immediate hit of stimulation from checking your phone. You've already satisfied a deeper need for calm and connection with yourself.
One practical tip that many people find helpful is to create a designated morning routine checklist that doesn't involve screens. It could be as simple as 1. Drink a glass of water. 2. Stretch for 5 minutes. 3. Meditate for 10 minutes. 4. Read for 15 minutes. Having these steps laid out can make it easier to stick to your intention.
A checklist is a great idea. It removes the guesswork and makes it feel more structured and achievable, especially when you're just starting out. What about people who absolutely need their phone to check the weather or their calendar first thing for work?
That's a common concern. The goal isn't necessarily to eliminate technology entirely for the first hour, but to eliminate the reactive and habitual use. If you absolutely need to check something for work, try to do it mindfully. For example, set a timer for 5 minutes, check only what you need to, and then put the phone away and transition into your other mindful activities. It's about conscious use, not complete abstinence, if your situation requires otherwise. The key is to be intentional about when and why you engage.
So, it's about setting boundaries with the technology itself, even within that first hour. Make technology serve you rather than you serving technology.
Precisely. And remember, this is a practice. There will be days when you slip up, and that's perfectly okay. Don't let a momentary lapse derail you completely. Just acknowledge it and recommit to your phone-free morning the next day. Consistency over perfection is the mantra here.
Consistency over perfection. I'm going to repeat that. It's so important for building new habits. So, to recap this powerful episode on morning mindfulness, we're creating a buffer zone, a phone-free period of at least 30 minutes to an hour each morning. We're achieving this by charging our phones in another room and replacing the automatic scroll with nourishing activities like stretching, journaling, reading, or simply quiet reflection. This empowers us, reduces stress, improves focus, and sets a positive, intentional tone for the entire day. It's about reclaiming control and investing in our well-being.
And that intentional start to the day can ripple outwards, influencing how we interact with our phones and the world throughout the rest of our waking hours. We've established a calmer, more centered self, ready to engage thoughtfully.
It really does set the precedent.
And speaking of mindful engagement, that brings us perfectly to our next episode focusing on mealtimes.
Indeed, in episode 5, we're going to tackle another crucial area: mealtime mastery. We'll explore how to create intentional, screen-free meal times that foster connection and presence, both with ourselves and with others.
Mealtime mastery. I'm looking forward to that.
Thanks for listening. Welcome back. Last time, we explored how to cultivate mindful mornings. Today, we're tackling mealtime and learning to connect without our phones.
This is such a huge one, Alex.
Dinner used to be prime time for family connection, and now it often feels like everyone's lost in their own digital world.
Exactly. Phones can interfere with the simple act of sharing a meal. When we're scrolling, are we really tasting our food or listening to the people across the table?
And it's not just about connection. Phones can disrupt our digestion. The stress of constant notifications sends signals to our body that aren't conducive to healthy eating.
You're absolutely right. Digestion benefits greatly from a calm, relaxed state. When our nervous system is on overdrive due to our phones, digestion can slow down. So, one benefit of phone-free meals is better physical well-being.
That's a powerful motivator. So, how do we actually do this when getting everyone to put phones away feels like a battle?
It starts with intention and strategy. First, we need to establish mealtime as a sacred space. This means consciously deciding this time is for nourishment, conversation, and connection.
So, more than just saying no phones, it's about defining what mealtime is for.
Precisely. Then we can implement practical steps. A really simple one is a phone basket or a designated landing zone away from the table. As soon as people are moving towards a meal, the phones go into this shared space.
I love that idea. It creates a physical separation. It's not about punishment, but about creating a clear boundary. What if someone says they need their phone for an emergency?
For genuine emergencies, of course, people need access. But often, what feels urgent is not. We can establish that for non-emergencies, phones remain put. You can always check them after the meal. It's about recalibrating our perception of urgency.
That's practical. And for families with younger children, it's also about modeling that behavior, isn't it? Kids learn by watching us. If we're glued to our phones, they'll think that's the norm.
Absolutely. Modeling is key. When parents are present, engaging in conversation, and showing genuine interest in their children's day, that sets a powerful example. It teaches children the value of face-to-face interaction and shared experiences.
And what are the benefits we can expect from this? Beyond better digestion and connection, what else does a phone-free mealtime offer?
Well, consider the conversations. When you're not interrupted by buzzing and pings, you can delve deeper. You can share more about your day, listen more attentively, and truly connect. For kids, it's a chance to practice communication skills.
It feels like it opens the door for more meaningful dialogue rather than just superficial updates.
Exactly. And it enhances the enjoyment of the food itself. When we're focused on our meal, we notice the flavors, the textures, the aromas. We eat more mindfully, which can lead to greater satisfaction and help us recognize when we're full, preventing overeating.
So, it's a holistic benefit, physically, mentally, and socially. It's like we're giving ourselves permission to be fully present for this essential part of our day.
Precisely. And the beauty of it is, it doesn't have to be complicated. It can be as simple as a no-phone zone around the dining table. You can even make it fun, perhaps by introducing conversation starters.
Oh, I like that. A conversation starter. That's a great way to prompt discussion if it feels a little stiff at first.
It really is. And remember, this is a process. It might not be perfect from day one. There might be slip-ups. The key is consistency and a commitment to reclaiming this time. Think of it as building a new habit. It takes practice.
So, to recap, we're aiming for phone-free mealtimes to foster genuine connection, improve our physical digestion by reducing stress, and enhance our appreciation for the food and the company. Practical steps include establishing a phone-free zone, perhaps with a designated phone basket, and, importantly, modeling this behavior, especially for children.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. It's about being intentional with our time at the table, making it a space for presence and nourishment. By removing the digital distractions, we create an environment where real conversation and connection can flourish.
It feels like such a fundamental shift, yet so achievable with a few deliberate changes.
It really is. And as we move forward in reclaiming our time and our lives, creating these pockets of presence becomes increasingly important.
So, what's next on our journey to a less phone, more life existence?
Well, after we've tackled our meal times and made those a sanctuary of connection, the next logical step is to look at how we define and enforce our limits more broadly.
Setting those boundaries. I'm ready for that.
Next episode, the boundary builder, setting your digital limits. Welcome back to Less Phone, More Life. We talked about disconnecting during meals to foster real connection.
And it was a great reminder that even small moments can be reclaimed from our phones.
Today, we're diving into episode 6, Boundary Builder, Setting Your Digital Limits.
This feels like the crucial next step, Alex. It's time to actively create some guardrails. What does setting digital limits really mean?
It means we're proactively deciding when and how our phones serve us. Think of it like building a fence around your important life activities.
A fence analogy. I like that. So, what are some practical ways we can build these fences?
One effective strategy is establishing a digital curfew. This is setting a time in the evening when all non-essential screen time ends.
The pre-sleep scroll. So, no more social media or news after a certain time.
Exactly. Blue light can interfere with sleep, but beyond that, Our brains need a break from constant stimulation. When we're exposed to exciting or upsetting content, our minds race.
That makes so much sense. So, what time is best for a digital curfew?
It's different for everyone, but an hour before your intended bedtime is a good starting point. Consistency is the key.
Consistency is key. What do you do with that extra hour?
This is your time to engage in activities that are genuinely restful. Think reading a physical book, listening to calming music, gentle stretching, journaling, or spending quiet time with family. It's about cultivating engagement that nourishes you.
So, it's not just about not using screens, but actively choosing something else. That's a positive framing.
Precisely. Now, another powerful technique is time blocking for phone use. This means designating specific, limited windows of time for checking your phone.
Time blocking. So, instead of being on my phone whenever I feel the urge, I schedule specific times to check it?
Yes. For example, you might decide to check emails and social media only at 9 a.m., 1 p.m., and 5 p.m. for 15 minutes each time. These are your planned engagement windows.
That sounds challenging, but incredibly effective. It forces you to be more intentional about why you're picking up your phone.
Exactly. And it combats the constant urge to check for notifications. When you have dedicated times, the impulse diminishes. You trust that you'll get to it.
It's like rescheduling your brain's dopamine hits. Instead of random pings, you get planned rewards.
That's a great way to put it. Building on that, let's talk about establishing no phone zones within your home. These are physical spaces where phones are simply not allowed.
Ooh, I like this. Where would be the most important places for these no phone zones?
The bedroom is paramount. No phones allowed. This dramatically improves sleep quality and reduces late night temptations.
Absolutely. And the dining table, of course. Are there other areas?
Think about common areas where you want to foster connection. The living room couch, for instance. If the phone isn't readily available, you're more likely to engage in conversation or play a game. Some families even designate a charging station outside of these zones.
A charging station. That's a tangible boundary. It removes the phone from your immediate reach.
It does. And it helps reinforce the idea that certain spaces are for specific activities. The kitchen is for cooking, the living room for relaxing, and the bedroom for sleeping. When phones are everywhere, they blur those lines.
So, to recap, we're talking about a digital curfew to help us wind down, time blocking to be intentional with our phone usage, and establishing no phone zones in our home to protect key areas of our life.
They are. And a crucial part of setting boundaries is communicating them. Let your family know about your new rules. This creates accountability and a shared understanding.
That's a fantastic point. It's not just about personal discipline, but about creating a supportive environment. It's about reclaiming our time and attention.
Indeed, by actively building these digital limits, we're creating space for richer, more fulfilling experiences. We're telling our phones where they belong, so we can be where we belong, fully present in our lives.
And this really sets us up for our next episode where we'll tackle the beast itself, notifications. We're going to explore how to achieve that coveted notification zero.
It's going to be a game changer. Join us next time as we move towards a quieter, more focused digital existence. Welcome back to Less Phone, More Life. Today, we're tackling notifications.
Notifications. They feel like little urgency grenades, don't they? Each ping demands our attention, pulling us away from whatever we're doing.
These alerts are designed to be attention-grabbing. Think of them as little rewards our brains crave. That's why we instinctively reach for our phones when we hear that sound.
It's the uncertainty, isn't it? What if it's important? That fear of missing out drives our constant checking.
Precisely. The businesses that design these apps know it. They engineer notifications to be addictive, to keep us engaged and coming back.
So, how do we fight back against this engineered distraction? What does notification zero look like?
Notification zero means regaining control. It ensures the notifications you do receive are genuinely important and add value, rather than just demanding your attention. It's about making them work for you.
That distinction is really important. So, where do we start to reclaim our focus?
The first step is a notification audit. For each app, ask yourself, do I truly need to be notified by this in real time?
And the answer for most apps is probably no, right? Do I really need to know the instant a game offers a bonus spin?
For the vast majority, the answer is a resounding no. Do you need to know the second someone likes your post? Most of the time, delaying that information by hours has no negative consequence.
So, for those apps, we just turn them off.
That's exactly it. Go into your phone settings, find the notifications section, and start disabling them for non-essential apps. Many apps allow you to customize what notifications you receive. Can you turn off likes and comments but still get direct messages? If so, that's a good compromise.
That makes sense. So, audit, then disable. What about apps that are important, like your calendar or urgent messaging?
For those essential apps, we can often customize the type of notification. You might want to enable notifications for direct messages from specific people, but disable them for group chats. You can choose whether a notification makes a sound, vibrates, or just appears silently.
I like the idea of silent notifications for things that require awareness, but not immediate action. It's a gentle nudge instead of a jarring alarm.
Exactly. Another powerful technique is to use Do Not Disturb modes. Most smartphones have this feature. You can set specific times when you want to silence all notifications or tailor it to only allow calls or messages from important contacts.
I use Do Not Disturb for sleep, but I never thought about using it during the day for focused work.
It's a game changer. Schedule it during your deep work hours. Inform those you work closely with that you'll be using it to maintain focus. This creates an expectation and reduces anxiety for them too.
That's a great point about managing expectations. It's not about being unavailable, it's about being intentionally available at the right times.
And when you do get a notification, especially an important one, take a moment to process it. Resist the urge to immediately react. Ask yourself, does this require my attention right now? If no, schedule a time later to address it. This builds a habit of thoughtful engagement.
So, to recap, first, audit all your apps and question the necessity of each notification. Then, disable anything non-essential. For critical apps, customize notification types. And leverage Do Not Disturb modes for focus time.
You've got it. And it's a practice that requires ongoing attention. As new apps are installed, or as existing apps update, you'll need to revisit this. It's a continuous process of monitoring and adjustment.
It feels like a significant mental shift. We're moving from a reactive state, where our phones dictate our attention, to a proactive state, where we control our devices.
Absolutely. By taming the notification siren, we reclaim mental bandwidth. We reduce the constant friction of interruptions, which lowers stress and anxiety. Imagine the clarity that comes from not having your focus fractured every few minutes. That leads to increased productivity, deeper engagement, and a more present life. So, the next time that phone buzzes, pause. Is it a genuine call to action or just a distraction? You're in charge now.
And this practice of reducing digital interruptions naturally leads us to our next topic. If we're not constantly pulled away by our phones, what do we do instead? Well, a key area where notifications often intrude is in our personal sanctuaries, especially our bedrooms.
That's right. In our next episode, we're going to explore how to create a bedroom sanctuary, a space that's truly free from the demands of your smartphone, leading to better sleep and more restorative rest. We'll be focusing on how to disconnect and create that essential digital free zone.
Creating a peaceful bedroom without the glow of a screen sounds like exactly what we need to wrap up our day.
Indeed. So join us next time as we banish the phone from the bedroom and rediscover the power of a truly restful night. Welcome back to Less Phone, More Life. Today, we create a bedroom sanctuary for truly restorative rest.
Last time, we tackled constant notifications. But even silenced, a phone in the bedroom is a huge hurdle to quality sleep. It's so tempting to just grab it for one last check.
Absolutely. Our bedrooms should be sanctuaries for rest, not just another place to scroll social media or answer emails. Yet, many of us bring our digital lives right into these private spaces, ruining our sleep.
The science backs this up. Why is it so hard for our brains and bodies to wind down when our phones are nearby, especially when trying to sleep?
There are two major culprits. First, the blue light from these screens. Our bodies produce melatonin, a hormone signaling sleep. Blue light strongly suppresses melatonin. So, looking at your phone screen tells your brain it's still daytime. Stay alert.
So, blue light tricks our brains into thinking it's not time to sleep. That makes sense. I felt that scrolling something exciting and suddenly I don't feel tired.
Exactly. The second issue is psychological stimulation. Even if you're not engaged intensely, your brain processes information. Seeing notifications or the sheer potential on your phone keeps your mind active and less relaxed. This makes it harder to fall asleep and leads to less deep, less restorative sleep.
It's like your brain is on standby, not truly off. That lack of downtime affects everything, doesn't it? Poor sleep leads to less focus, more irritability. It impacts physical health, it's a domino effect.
It truly is. When we're tired, our decision-making suffers, our emotional regulation is shot, and we're more prone to stress. Creating a bedroom sanctuary isn't just about aesthetics. It's crucial for reclaiming energy and improving quality of life.
So, Alex, for those whose bedrooms aren't sanctuaries, what are the practical steps? Where do we begin?
The most impactful step is a no phones in the bedroom rule. Your phone stays outside your sleeping space all night.
Outside the bedroom. That's strong. What about using it as an alarm clock? That's the classic justification.
That's a common hurdle. For years, smartphones were our alarm clocks. But there are simple, effective alternatives. Get an old-fashioned analog alarm clock or a digital one with minimal distracting lights. They're inexpensive, readily available, and do one job well: wake you up.
I love that idea. A dedicated device for a dedicated task. So, a separate alarm clock is step one to removing the phone. What else to make the bedroom a place for rest, not scrolling?
Make your bedroom a tech-free zone as much as possible. No TVs, no tablets, no laptops. The goal is to signal to your brain this is a place for winding down, for quiet, for sleep. Train your brain to associate your bedroom with rest, and you'll find it easier to switch off.
So, it's rewiring those associations. Instead of bedroom equals entertainment slash work, it becomes bedroom equals sleep and relaxation.
Precisely. Another helpful tip is to establish a wind-down routine that excludes screens. About an hour before sleep, shift your activities. Read a physical book, listen to calming music or a podcast, take a warm bath, meditate, or do light stretching. These signal to your body that it's time to prepare for sleep.
A physical book versus an e-reader. That's a good distinction. The tactile experience, lack of a bright screen, it makes a difference. A warm bath or stretching feels more conducive to sleep than scrolling news feeds.
Absolutely. And for those who need a device for evening listening, consider a dedicated audio player or speaker. Create calming playlists or download podcasts. The device can be turned off or kept overnight. not tempting you to browse. Limit the phone's role in your evening.
So, the key is removing the phone from primary evening entertainment and replacing it with truly restorative activities. If you must have a device for music, use a non-phone alternative.
Exactly. Now, charging. If you must have your phone in your room for emergency reasons, strongly consider charging it outside your bedroom. This creates a physical barrier. If the phone is in the living room or kitchen, it's not within arm's reach. You have to get out of bed to access it, which is often enough of a deterrent.
That's a brilliant practical tip. Charging it outside the bedroom is a compromise for those needing it for emergencies. It creates a deliberate act to pick up the phone, rather than it just being there.
And it's amazing how much better you'll sleep when you're not worried about missing something or tempted to peek. Think about the peace of mind knowing your bedroom is a dedicated sleep space. It's a haven.
It really is.
It's about reclaiming that space for its intended purpose. The cumulative effect of these changes, dedicated alarm clock, screen-free wind down, charging outside the room, will be significant.
It will be. We've discussed the negative impacts of blue light and psychological stimulation from phones on sleep. To combat this, we've explored key strategies. First, consider a dedicated alarm clock. Second, make your bedroom a tech-free zone. Third, establish a screen-free wind-down routine. And finally, charge your phone outside the bedroom to create a physical barrier.
Making these changes can truly transform your sleep and, by extension, your entire life. A well-rested mind and body are more resilient, more joyful, and more present.
Indeed. And that leads us perfectly into our next episode. Now that we've created this peaceful, screen-free sanctuary for sleep, what do we do with that reclaimed time and energy? We're going to explore rediscovering real-world joys and filling the void left by decreasing phone use.
Can't wait for that one. So, for episode 9, we'll be looking at how to fill our lives with more authentic, fulfilling activities.
That's right. Join us next time on Less Phone, More Life. Welcome back. Remember last time we discussed making your bedroom a screen-free haven?
Yes, and now that we're sleeping better, it's time to talk about what we actually do with all that reclaimed time and mental energy. This episode is about actively filling our lives with genuine, real-world joy.
Exactly. Think of it like decluttering your home. Once you clear out the excess, you have space for what truly matters. We've cleared out the digital clutter, and now we get to fill that space with experiences that nourish us. So, where do we start, Lisa?
I believe a great starting point is rediscovering what we used to love, or perhaps something we've always wanted to try. Our phones often become our default companions, and sometimes we forget about those personal passions that exist completely offline.
That's a brilliant point. For many of us, our phone has become a substitute for hobbies. Instead of picking up a guitar, we might scroll through guitar tutorials. Instead of reading a physical book, we read articles online. We end up consuming content about activities rather than doing them.
So, the first step is remembering or rediscovering these offline interests. For me, it's been gardening. I used to have a small balcony garden years ago, and I completely let it slide. Now, with more evenings free, I've started again. It's amazing how calming it is to just get my hands in the soil.
Gardening is a fantastic example. It connects you to nature, it's a physical activity, and there's a tangible reward. You see your plants grow, you harvest something. It's incredibly grounding. What other real-world joys can we bring back?
Well, for many, it's about creative pursuits. Think about art, writing, music, crafting. These are all things that engage a different part of our brain than passive consumption. They require us to imagine, to create, to express ourselves.
Imagine that. Instead of passively watching someone else paint, we pick up a brush ourselves. Or instead of reading fictional stories endlessly, we try writing our own. This is where that creative spark really gets to flourish. It's not about being perfect, it's about the process of making something.
And the beauty of these activities is that they don't require a constant internet connection. You can sit down with a sketchbook, a notebook, or an instrument and just be present with the activity itself. It's a form of deep engagement, isn't it?
Absolutely. We're moving from shallow engagement with endless feeds to deep engagement with a single activity. And this deep engagement is where we often find a sense of flow, that feeling of being completely absorbed and losing track of time, but in a positive way.
That's a great distinction. It's not about filling every second with frantic activity, but about engaging deeply with something that truly resonates with us. So, we've covered personal hobbies and creative outlets. What else is on the list of real-world joys? I think spending time in nature is a big one.
Oh, definitely. Our brains are wired to benefit from nature. A walk in the park, a hike in the woods, even just sitting by a lake. These experiences can lower stress, improve our mood, and increase our sense of well-being. And it's so easy to overlook when we're constantly looking down at our phones.
It really is. We can be surrounded by beautiful scenery, but if we're scrolling through social media, we're missing it. Making a conscious effort to leave the phone behind, or at least put it away, during these nature excursions can be incredibly rewarding. It's about being present in the moment and appreciating our surroundings.
And with nature, there's often an element of serendipity. You might spot a rare bird, see a deer, or discover a hidden trail. These are the unexpected discoveries that a curated digital feed can't replicate. It's the wild, beautiful unpredictability of the real world.
Beyond hobbies and nature, another huge area is connecting with people. We've talked about minimizing screen time, but often the phone gets in the way of genuine, in-person connection.
This is crucial. Remember back in episode 5, Mealtime Mastery? We talked about making meals a screen-free zone to foster connection. This principle extends to all our interactions. When we're with friends, family, or colleagues, truly being with them is a profound joy.
It means putting down the phone during conversations, making eye contact, and actively listening. It's about asking deeper questions and being genuinely interested in the answers, rather than just waiting for our turn to check our notifications.
This kind of connection is so vital for our emotional health. It builds stronger relationships, reduces feelings of loneliness, and creates a sense of belonging. These are fundamental human needs that can't be fully satisfied through digital interactions alone.
So, to recap for our listeners, we're talking about filling the void left by reduced phone time with activities that bring genuine, real-world joy. This includes 1. Rediscovering and pursuing personal hobbies, things you loved before or have always wanted to try, independent of a screen. 2. Engaging in creative pursuits like art, writing, or music. 3. Spending quality time in nature, unplugged and present. And 4. Prioritizing deep, in-person connections with loved ones.
Those four pillars encompass so much of what makes a fulfilling life. It's about moving from passive consumption to active participation, from isolation to connection, and from distraction to deep engagement. It's about making conscious choices about where we invest our precious time and energy.
And it doesn't have to be a massive overhaul. It can start small. Maybe it's just committing to 1 hour a week of a hobby or one screen-free walk in nature. The key is starting and building momentum.
Precisely. As we start to fill our lives with these richer experiences, we'll find that the pull of the phone diminishes naturally. It's no longer a crutch, but just one tool among many, and not the most important one.
So, we've had these wonderful real-world joys to fill our time. But what happens when those moments aren't filled? What about downtime? What happens when we encounter boredom? That's actually our focus for the next episode.
That's right. We'll be exploring embracing boredom, the creativity catalyst, because it turns out a little boredom is actually incredibly good for us.
Can't wait.
See you then. less phone, more life. Last time, we explored rediscovering real-world joys. Today, we're diving into a concept many of us avoid, boredom.
Boredom. Just saying the word can make people feel antsy, can it? It feels like the opposite of productivity and entertainment. But Alex, you're suggesting it's actually good?
Precisely, Lisa. We live in a constantly buzzing world offering instant gratification. Our phones fill every spare second, stealing the space for boredom. That space, that lack of stimulation, is a powerful catalyst for creativity and deeper thinking.
So, instead of seeing boredom as a void, we should see it as an opportunity.
Exactly. When was the last time you were truly, uncomfortably bored? Nothing immediately demanding your attention. What happened? Most of us reach for our phones, right? A quick scroll, a game, anything to escape.
Oh, absolutely. It's like a reflex. My hand just moves towards my pocket.
And that reflex interrupts a crucial process. When we allow ourselves to be bored, our minds wander. This isn't just daydreaming. It's our brain making new connections. It's when we solve problems, have aha moments, and creative ideas bubble up. Boredom is the fertile ground for innovation and personal insight.
So, by constantly avoiding boredom, we might be stunting our creativity and problem-solving abilities. It's like pruning a tree before it can grow fruit.
A perfect analogy, Lisa. When our minds aren't being passively fed information, they become active. The brain explores its own internal landscape. This is often called the default mode network, and it's vital for self-reflection, consolidating memories, and generating novel thoughts. Without boredom, this network doesn't fully engage.
So, it's not about doing nothing, but about allowing our minds their undirected work.
Yes, boredom allows for introspection. It gives us the quiet space to check in with ourselves. How am I really doing? What do I truly want? Without constant external input, we can hear our own thoughts, feelings, and desires more clearly. This self-awareness is fundamental to personal growth.
And what about problem solving? I found that when I step away from a tough problem, the solution pops into my head. Is that boredom at work?
That's often the result of allowing your subconscious mind to work on the problem, which happens more readily when you're not actively trying to solve it and are in a state of lower mental engagement, like during gentle boredom. Your conscious mind rests, but your subconscious is processing. When you return, you have that fresh perspective. Boredom provides that mental downtime.
So, how do we actually embrace boredom? It feels difficult when our phones are so readily available to distract us.
It requires conscious effort. The first step is noticing when you reach for your phone out of habit to avoid boredom. Pause. Ask yourself, do I really need to pick this up right now? Or am I just trying to escape a moment of quiet?
That pause is key. It's that micro decision point.
Exactly. Once you've identified that impulse, try to resist it for just a few minutes. Instead of opening an app, just be. Look around you. Observe your surroundings. Notice details you usually miss. Let your mind wander. It might feel awkward at first, even uncomfortable. That's okay. That's your brain adjusting to a different pace.
It's like exercising a muscle. The more you do it, the stronger it gets.
Precisely. Another strategy is to create boredom opportunities. This means allowing unstructured time in your day. For example, instead of listening to a podcast or scrolling social media during your commute or while waiting in line, just let yourself be present.
So, on the train, instead of my phone, I could just look out the window and think.
Yes, or let your mind drift. Daydream. What if you left your phone behind for a short walk? Go to a park without headphones. Just walk and be with your thoughts. These small acts of digital abstinence can reconnect you with the present and allow those wandering thoughts to surface.
It sounds almost radical. What are concrete examples of how this can manifest in creativity?
Consider historical figures or artists before constant connectivity. They had vast amounts of unstructured time. Many of their greatest works arose from quiet contemplation, from noticing the world without immediate digital filters. A writer might stare out a window and a character's dialogue might emerge. A painter might watch light change on a wall and be inspired by a new color palette. Even solving complex scientific problems often requires stepping back from dense data and allowing the mind to make intuitive leaps.
So, it's about cultivating that inner world.
It is, and it helps with problem solving. When you're stuck on a challenge, consciously stepping away and allowing yourself to be bored can be incredibly effective. Don't immediately search for a solution online. Instead, take a walk, do chores, or just sit and let your mind be quiet. The solution often emerges when you're not actively forcing it.
It's like giving your brain permission to play.
A great way to put it. The more we practice, the more we realize boredom isn't a punishment. It's a gift. It's a signal that it's time for your mind to rest, reflect, and create. It's where original thoughts are born.
I'm starting to see the value. It feels challenging but also liberating. So, to recap, by embracing boredom, we're not just passing time. We're engaging our brain's default mode network, fostering self-reflection, and creating fertile ground for creativity and problem solving. We can cultivate this by pausing before we reach for our phones, creating unstructured time, and consciously choosing to be present without immediate stimulation.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. This practice of embracing boredom is a cornerstone of reclaiming your time and attention. Next episode, Social Savvy, Present in Person. We'll discuss navigating social situations with reduced phone use.
We'll see you then.
Welcome back. Last time, we explored how embracing boredom can spark creativity. Today, we're tackling social savvy, how to be truly present in person.
That's a crucial topic. How do we navigate social situations when others are still glued to their phones?
Exactly. It's about reclaiming our in-person interactions. Think about it. How often are people's attentions fractured by their phones and conversations?
It's frustrating when you're telling a story and someone's eyes dart to their phone. You feel less important.
Precisely. Our goal is to be the kind of person who offers undivided attention because it's a gift. So how do we do that? First, be intentional ourselves. Put the phone away during social time.
So, we model the behavior we want to see. Our own presence subtly encourages others to disconnect.
That's a great way to put it, Lisa. Be the shining example of presence. But what if phone use is persistent from others? We need strategies. Be polite but assertive. Instead of getting frustrated, gently redirect. If someone looks at their phone mid-conversation, pause and say warmly, "Excuse me, I was telling you about this idea and would love your thoughts."
That's so smart. It's not accusatory, it's a gentle reminder and a clear invitation to re-engage. It gives them an easy out.
And it works. People often don't realize they're doing it. It's an automatic reflex. Another strategy, create phone-free zones or times. With close friends, you might say, "Hey, for the next hour during dinner, let's keep our phones away. I really want to connect."
I love that. It sets expectations clearly. Have you found people are receptive?
Generally, yes. They welcome the opportunity for screen-free conversation. But if you encounter resistance, you can still choose to be present. You continue to engage, but you may need to be okay with not getting their full attention. Manage your own expectations.
That distinction is important. We can't control others, but we can control our response. We can remain present or try to re-engage later.
Absolutely. And sometimes it's about choosing your battles. In a casual group, focus on the engaged people or seek out those also practicing presence. The rewards of undivided human attention are immense. It builds trust, deepens connection, and makes both feel valued.
It's a different level of communication. Conversations where both people are fully present feel so much more meaningful. The ideas flow, laughter is richer, and you leave feeling understood.
Exactly. And it's a skill needing practice. It's about being attuned to people, reading body language, actively listening, and fostering genuine connection. What are some of the genuine joys you've found in these more present interactions?
For me, it's the unexpected detours conversations can take. When you're not rushing, you can follow a tangent, ask a deeper question, and uncover something interesting. It feels like a dance, a spontaneous exchange.
That's a beautiful analogy, Lisa. A dance requires rhythm, attention, and a willingness to move with your partner. The more you practice being present socially, the more natural it becomes. You notice subtle cues, shifts in tone, unspoken emotions. The richness screens filter out.
So, to recap, 1. Be a role model by keeping your phone put away. 2. Use polite redirection to invite others back into conversation. 3. Consider phone-free times or zones for deeper connection. And 4. Manage your expectations and focus on the quality of interactions you can have.
Perfectly summarized. And this practice is foundational for our final discussion. Next episode, the long game. How to sustain this progress and prevent relapses, ensuring this freedom becomes a lasting part of your life.
That sounds essential. I'm looking forward to it.
Excellent. So, for this episode on social savvy, remember to look up, engage deeply, and enjoy the richness of human connection. Thanks for listening. Welcome back. Last time, we talked about being more present in our face-to-face interactions. Today, we're focusing on a long game. How do we make phone freedom last?
That's crucial, Alex. It's one thing to change habits temporarily, but another to make them stick. We've covered so much, from auditing our usage and decluttering apps to reclaiming mornings and our bedrooms. How do we keep this going?
Exactly. The key to the long game is viewing this as a fundamental shift, not a restriction. It's about building resilience, like making fitness a lifestyle, not just a week-long commitment.
So, how do we make these practices sustainable? What specific things can we do to avoid sliding back into old patterns?
The first pillar is intentionality with room to breathe. We've put structures in place, like notification zero. Now, it's about constantly checking why we're using our phones. Are we reaching for it out of habit or for a genuine purpose? This self-awareness is your best defense against mindless scrolling.
That makes sense, having an internal compass for our phone use. But what about when we slip up? Because it happens. We pick up our phones for one thing, and an hour vanishes. How do we handle relapses without feeling defeated?
That's critical. The answer is self-compassion, not self-criticism. A relapse doesn't erase your progress. Instead of "I've failed," reframe it as "this is a learning opportunity." Ask what triggered the slip. Was it an emotion, boredom, or a social situation? Understanding the trigger is half the battle.
So, we analyze constructively. If I find myself scrolling mindlessly when feeling lonely, I can proactively choose a different activity next time, like calling a friend or going for a walk.
Precisely. And this leads to continuous refinement. Your life evolves, so your phone habits may need tweaking. Regularly assess your habits. Are your boundaries still effective? Are new apps creeping in? Schedule monthly check-ins to review and adjust.
A monthly tech review, I like that. It sounds like a digital decluttering for ongoing habits. So, we have intentionality, self-compassion, and continuous refinement. Any other key strategies for sustaining this freedom?
Yes, and this is big. Cultivating deeper engagement with the real world. Remember rediscovering real-world joys and embracing boredom? Those are foundational. When your life is rich with fulfilling activities, hobbies, and connections, the digital world allure diminishes. The phone becomes a tool, not a primary source of entertainment.
That's a beautiful way to put it. It's about building a life so full that the phone fades into the background. We're not just taking something away, we're filling that space with something richer, more substantial. It's abundance, not deprivation.
Exactly. This abundance comes from nurturing our actual lives. Invest time in relationships, pursue passions, spend time in nature, learn something new. When you have a thriving inner and outer life, the need to escape or seek validation through your phone significantly decreases. If you're engrossed in a hobby, are you likely to get lost scrolling? Probably not.
It's about ensuring the phone serves us, not the other way around. We've discussed practical strategies, from the audit and app decluttering to setting boundaries, managing notifications, and creating screen-free zones. Now we're talking about the deeper, ongoing work of making this a sustainable lifestyle.
Indeed, the long game is conscious engagement. It requires mindfulness, self-compassion when we falter, and continually nurturing aspects of our lives that bring joy. It's about building a strong, resilient relationship with technology where we are in control.
And this brings us to our final episode. We've come so far. In our next episode, we'll do a comprehensive wrap up of everything we've learned and look ahead at how to continue living a life with less phone and more life. We'll give you a solid recap and final thoughts for your journey.
It's going to be a great finale, a chance to tie everything together and reinforce the core message of reclaiming our attention and our lives.
So, remember the key to the long game: intentionality, self compassion, continuous refinement, and actively cultivating a rich, real world life. These are the cornerstones of lasting freedom from digital distraction.
Absolutely. And we're so excited to bring it all home for you.
Thanks for listening.
Welcome back, everyone, to the very last episode of Less Phone, More Life. We've embarked on a journey to reclaim our time, our attention, and our lives.
It's been quite the adventure. We started by understanding the smartphone's pull, then audited our digital footprints, and progressively shed unnecessary app habits. We learned to be mindful in our mornings and at our meals, set firm digital boundaries, and achieve notification zero.
Exactly. And we even tackled the sacred space of the bedroom for better sleep without the screen's glow. Then, we began filling that reclaimed time with rediscovering real-world joys and even embracing the often feared embrace of boredom, which we've seen can be a powerful catalyst for creativity.
We also explored how to be more present and socially savvy in our in-person interactions, and importantly, how to build a strategy for the long game to sustain this newfound freedom. So today, in our final chapter, we're bringing it all together.
This episode is about solidifying that progress, celebrating how far we've come, and looking forward. It's about understanding that this isn't a one-time fix, but a continuous practice of living a life with less phone and more presence. We've covered a lot of ground, so let's do a quick recap of our core pillars.
Sounds good. I think the first big idea was really about awareness. Remember our great phone audit? We learned to uncover our digital habits, to see exactly where our time was going. That understanding is the bedrock upon which all other changes are built. Without that awareness, we're just guessing.
Absolutely. Awareness leads to intention. Once we knew, we could start being intentional. That's where the minimalist app diet came in and the strict notification zero. It was about deliberately curating our digital environment to serve us rather than dominate us. We weren't just deleting apps, we were removing distractions.
And it wasn't just about what we were taking away, but what we were adding back in. Our focus shifted to cultivating presence. Remember mindful mornings and mealtime mastery? These were about being fully engaged in those specific moments, whether it was the start of your day or sharing a meal.
Yes, and those practices extend outwards. Building boundaries, especially in the bedroom, is about creating sanctuary. It's about recognizing that certain times and places need to be screen-free to protect our well-being, particularly our sleep. Sleep is so fundamental, and it's one of the first things to suffer from overuse.
And when we carve out that time and mental space, what do we do with it? That's where rediscovering real world joys and embracing boredom come in. It's about filling the void not with more digital noise, but with genuine experiences, hobbies, and even just quiet contemplation. Boredom, as we discussed, can be the fertile ground for new ideas.
It's a complete transformation of how we relate to technology and to ourselves. The goal isn't to eliminate technology, but to be its master, not its servant. This journey is about reclaiming agency over our attention. Our attention is a finite resource, and where we direct it profoundly shapes our experience of life.
And I think the concept of building a long game is crucial here. This isn't about a perfect week or month, but about building sustainable habits that can last a lifetime. It's about adapting as technology changes and as our own lives evolve. It's about having resilience.
Precisely. This is a continuous practice. There will be days when you slip up, when you find yourself mindlessly scrolling. The important thing is not to strive for unattainable perfection, but to acknowledge it, learn from it, and gently redirect yourself back to your intentions. Think of it like tending a garden. It requires ongoing care.
That's a great analogy, Alex. You weed, you water, you prune, and you keep tending to it. It's about consistently choosing presence over distraction. It's choosing connection over isolation, engagement over passivity. Are we really living if we're just passively consuming content for hours on end?
That question is at the heart of it all. Are we truly experiencing life or just observing curated versions of it? This series has been about empowering you to choose the former. It's about making conscious decisions about how you engage with your smartphone and, by extension, with the world around you.
So, as we wrap up the series, what are your final thoughts, Alex? What's the one key takeaway you hope listeners hold on to?
My biggest takeaway is that a life with less phone is a life with more life. It's about creating space for genuine connection with yourself, with others, and with the world. Every moment you choose to be present, you are enriching your life. Every time you put the phone down to engage with what's in front of you, you are winning.
And I'd add that your phone is a tool. It can be incredibly useful, but like any powerful tool, it needs to be handled with care and intention. We've given you the strategies to do just that. It's about being intentional with your digital tools so they support your real world goals and values.
Exactly. This isn't the end of the conversation, but the beginning of your continued practice. We've equipped you with the knowledge and the tools. Now it's about applying them day after day. Celebrate your progress. Be kind to yourself when you falter, and keep choosing presence.
It's been an absolute pleasure guiding you through this journey. We hope that the practices and insights we've shared have made a tangible difference in your lives, helping you find that balance and cultivate a deeper sense of presence.
Thank you all so much for joining us for Less Phone, More Life. We've covered our understanding of the smartphone's pull, auditing our habits, decluttering apps, mindful presence in daily routines like mornings and meals, setting boundaries especially for sleep, rediscovering joy, harnessing boredom, improving in-person interactions, and sustaining these changes. It's been a comprehensive look at reclaiming your time and attention.
We wish you all the very best as you continue to live a life with less phone and more of everything else that truly matters.
Thanks for listening to the series.